Four of a kind, read 'em and weep.
Always bet on aces.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Ali, and this is the Autoali. So, as you can see by all this craziness around me, I was approached by Aces EFI. And they said, would you like to switch away from your FiTech? And I thought, yeah, let's do it. So, we're getting rid of FiTech and this cheap Amazon basic fake Pertronics setup, and we're going to switch to this. So, today has become rather interesting. Today was going to start out with me driving around in the 66 here, kind of like talking about the system that I have now for the fuel injection, because I've been running the FiTech for about 4 or 5 years now. And you know, it let me down. I could not write this or script this. It developed a miss the other day, and I have chased after. All right, so we're going to key it on. Obviously, it's already fuel injected, so we're going to prime it. Make sure it's out of gear. And you'll notice that the car is shaking pretty bad. So I've been chasing this miss, and you'll actually hear how flat it sounds. See how bad that motor's shaking? So check this out. Fuel, dry. Rub it. So I'm getting no fuel in the back corner. The way my intake's designed, this comes down, and this cylinder can be fed from here. This cylinder comes straight out of that barrel. So that cylinder is not getting enough fuel, if any at all. Which is why it's dead, which is why it doesn't change when you pop that off. So now let's discuss how we're going to fix that. So how we're going to fix that. I was contacted by my friends over at Aces EFI, and they said, hey Ali, do you think you'd want to switch away from FiTech and try one of our Aces EFI systems? And I thought about it for a minute, and I said, sure, because I like technology. I like the modern, enjoyable stuff. They sent me over a system, and I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to show you what we're installing on the 66. So we turn around, and then when I talk to them and they ask me what I'd like, I said I kind of want a polished unit. I think it'll look really pretty under hood. And this is really pretty. That is super nice. It comes with grommet. Comes with a little adapter. Here's the computer, which is super nice. It's actually metal. That's really freaking nice. Ooh, key ring. Comes with weld-in bungs, which the FiTech came with Where's Allie? The FiTech came with like a clamp on. This has weld-in bungs, which will be nice. Okay, this is your new temp sensor. That's just a GM basic AC Delco. New can system. It does come with some hose adapters. That looks like a fuel pressure sensor. I mean, it's pretty inclusive here. That's a GPS, because I think the handheld has GPS speed and everything. Comes with relays on the unit, or on the wiring harness. And, it comes with the gaskets and the studs and all that stuff. Another thing I want to highlight is this setup. They're even running the nice wire loom. And I know that to some people that may not be much, but to me that means something, because that cheap plastic wire loom just doesn't look as good. I mean, that just looks like quality. I'm pretty happy with this so far. Also, along with the Killshot throttle body, they sent the blackjack coil. Here's the weld-in bung, or another weld-in bung that come with the system. These are porcelain tipped spark plug wires, which is super exciting, because I was actually shopping for these because I was going to buy new ones. Look at that! I was going to buy new ones for my car, and then they sent me new ones, so that made me happy. This is the blackjack distributor. So this will actually have full computer controlled timing, which will be freaking awesome. And this is the handheld. I went with the 7-inch handheld. They also make a 5-inch. Haley's coming in here, getting ready to steal some of my stuff already.
No. I like that sticker though.
So, Haley and I are going to go through, we're going to discuss how to make sure your car is ready for the fuel injection. Obviously, mine is already fuel injected, so my setup and showing is going to be a little different. I will explain to you the exact fuel system I'm running, and I'll explain to you exactly how we're going to have it all plumbed in. Let's get you turned around. I think I'm going to move the Mustang over to the lift bay. That way I can put it up in the air. I can show you guys exactly how everything is run.
Shelby.
Alright. Let's get this thing up in the air and start showing you all the wonderful underlays. Alright, so I got my handy dandy light here. We're going to come over to the side. We're going to see, this is my fuel line. It comes from here. There's my one filter. It's hard lined to there. Then it loops under. And it goes into the factory location through the suspension and then up into here. This is my fuel pump wire. This all goes back. Here's the brake line. Return and feed. Go up over. And then this is where my return goes into the rubber, which goes into my tank, or the feed. And then my return loops around and goes into here. This is a factory drain plug. I just had it set up for return. Inside the tank, you'll see that I have my plug set up here. Inside the tank, this is a Autoali EFI conversion. It's a 12305. Before that, I actually had an external pump. It was FiTech brand, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, so I like the in-tank units. But we have that pre-installed, so we're going to continue to run that system. And this feed is 3/8 lined, so this is enough for our Killshot. But I learned something that I didn't know before. This is actually internally regulated. So it's internally regulated to 59 PSI. So I can eliminate this. I can eliminate the entire return and get rid of all of that. So we're going to get rid of that fuel pressure regulator. We're going to run straight 59 PSI into the fuel system and run a deadhead system, which there are dangers to running a deadhead system. A return system tries to keep the fuel cooler. With a deadhead system, if you're running straight pressure the whole way up, any fuel it's not using, it ends up getting hotter. That's why we have a regulator on this, was to have a return system. But your options are running an external regulator and eliminating the internal regulator, or just running the internal. I'm going to go ahead and run the internal, deadhead the system, and we should be okay. I don't need the regulators fighting each other. Other things to consider when you are planning on putting in an EFI system is location of your O2 sensor. So you can see I have mine here. It's it's pointed up. You don't want them to go flat. You don't want them pointing up in. You want it pointed down. You want it to be as far away from this collector as possible. I think they say 12 to 18 inches, but I didn't have that option. So I went as far back as I could to be back inside the pipe. All right, so under hood, we're going to discuss some of the issues that I have found on my car and some of the things you want to double check before doing your swap. Number one, obviously, we discussed that my fuel pump regulators are fighting each other. So this is going to go away. This FiTech computer, which always drove me nuts that it was under hood, is going to go away. This huge wiring harness is going to go away. This is obviously going to go. And we're going to clean up this whole section. I'm going to put a hole back there. I'm going to kind of hide everything inside. I'm going to make it nice and neat. You want to make sure that you have clean grounds and clean power. So I have a power distribution block over here. So my power distribution block actually runs, here's your battery coming down. They want you to run straight to the battery. So we'll make sure that we run clear, clean power, ground, and then you're going to want an ignition. My ignition is new. If your ignition is old and a bit shaky, it could cause problems. Another thing to think about, old cars don't have grounds. These old cars, they weren't designed that they had to have a lot. They didn't have a lot of electronics. Everything worked pretty well. So your basic car is going to have one ground right here. You have ground from the battery to the engine. I do not have any other grounds except for this one going to the body. According to Aces, and we are going to follow their instructions, you want to have 3 grounds. So you want to have battery to car, or battery to motor, motor to chassis, and obviously I don't have a frame, but it would be or the body to the frame. But you want to make sure you have a triangulation of grounds so that you have good solid grounds for all of this stuff. I also have this set up. I had this pre-installed before I was talking to Aces. This is actually a relay block. So all of this is going to continue to be used. Their fans are ground triggered, which is also how the Fi-Tech was, but that's why my fans, this fan was not set up to turn on temperature. This fan was set up to turn on with key on. We're going to wire in a different regulator setup because this system has like shared grounds and all that stuff. So we're going to wire in a secondary relay hidden, probably up inside here, that'll trigger the relay to fire this fan instead of having an external source. Because I want this controlled by the computer. Aces gives you the option. I want to play with it. I'm probably going to have to remake my fuel line unless I find a one that I can utilize. We're going to have to plug the other side because I'm running a single instead of a return system. And then this is going to come out. We'll put in the computer-controlled distributor. This feels very weird. Because I put this system in 2020. It feels really weird removing it. But off to bigger and better things. I just find humor in the fact that it failed. This is the old handheld wiring, which is crazy that that's what runs the handheld. It's a mic cable. Oh look, it's got corrosion on it. Huh. Quality. Another thing I'm going to say is I'm going to be very happy to not have all this wiring floating around the engine bay. Because I am in no way like a perfectionist when it comes to cars. I don't have OCD or anything like that. But I like things to look good. And right now, this wiring mess just drives me crazy. And it always has. But I didn't really have another option. Because the harness on this one would be near impossible to try and get through the firewall without making like massive holes. And the Killshot has a nice small compact connector. So the Killshot, this is all that comes through the firewall. All this can stay inside the car. So there's my fuses. These are the relays. That goes into the computers, or the computer, sorry. So yeah, like, I can bring that out the firewall nice and easy. It'll be nice and clean, instead of this, where I have this wire going here. That's the relay. Over here, I got wires that had to come out of the harness here that had to go to the tax signals. So you got two chunks of wire here, plus the handheld wiring. I mean, it's a big mess. And then you come here, and this all comes out of the fuel injection. It goes to the coil, which is obviously on the front of the engine. And then I have my aftermarket distributor, which is here. And then you have this. And then you have all this crazy wiring on the system. So, I just think it's going to be a lot nicer, neater, and cleaner. Just going with that, drilling one single hole, popping everything inside. You can see I got my throttle body on. That looks really freaking nice. I may switch this over to here, because I'm going to run, you can see, kind of, there's my fuel line. And that's also where my fuel pump electric comes. I think I'm going to bring it up and run it across with this brake line. And maybe bring it in here. We got this cleaned up. Plug is installed. All this is tucked up in. I got everything away from the exhaust. And you can see I got our lines tied up. Return is eliminated. So this is all going to be one. Now, instead of dropping under like it did before here, I am going up. And I'm going to try and go in. You can kind of see where I have the line. I'm going to go up around on the far side, on the other side of the master cylinder, and then try and feed this up over. And so it runs along the back of the engine instead of going along the front and going back. I think it'll look cleaner and I think it'll look nicer. Another nice thing that I'm noticing about this Killshot kit versus the FiTech is these are swappable. So I decided, instead of coming in the front, I wanted my setup, instead of coming in here and having inlet, I decided I wanted to put it in this back corner and wrap this around the back side. So all I had to do was pull a plug and an AN, and I swap it over. So now, instead of going on this side, now it's going to that side. And this is all interconnected, so you can feed it no matter where you're at. So now, my fuel can come in there and still work the same. How cool is that? Woo! A little nerve-wracking cutting into a car you restored. Just saying. All right, so we got our setup right here. I drilled it, got her cleaned up, and this little 2-inch grommet fits perfectly. I love it. These fuel injection systems, and I speak from experience because of my old fuel, the FiTech, is these need clean power. So your battery power for the car, your main power is going in, they have to go straight to the battery. I mean, I have a junction block here, but they want it straight to the battery, nothing else. So that'll clean up that, give you clean power there. They need a clean ignition, which I'll have right inside the car. It'll come right off the ignition switch. But all this stuff cannot have interference with other things, other wiring. So dealing with this, we got to make sure we plan ahead and make sure all of this has its place. All new wires, yeah.
For what reason did you do it before?
Because I'm doing a whole new system.
I saw on your Instagram like some of what you were doing.
So this new system comes with a new distributor and everything. And eventually I'm going to actually have computer control timing. But for now, it's just going to be running off a standard weight timing. And then when I have the ability, well, the setup to computer tune it, which a buddy of mine knows how to do very well, then we'll go. All right, so we got most of the wiring done out here. You can see the 4 mounting bolts there for the computer. We'll go inside. I'll show you what we're dealing with in here. I am very not built for balancing underneath the dashboard anymore, but here we are. We've got 2 relays mounted up here. We've got some of the wiring tucked into place. this is going to get tucked back. I have our Killshot mounted, rubber isolated to the firewall. Bye, love you. I got that mounted to the firewall. It's rubber isolated. And we're going to clean up the wiring in here. And then we have to get these wiring. You have pump. I think this is key on. Ignition key. So this can actually stay inside the car. The other three are going out. You have battery power, battery ground, and the orange goes to the fuel pump, which I have out under hood. So we can tie that in. And that will clean up all of this. The nice thing is, when my stereo's in place, where it belongs, if I need to access that computer, I have access right there. I'll be able to see all the lights and everything when I need, and I can just pull the ashtray out. Pretty nice, I think, at least. Alright, now that my fat ass is half folded in here. Hi, Maxwell. Which cat do you have? A mock. So, we're going to go ahead and get this stuff tied up. We're going to get the electrical tucked back out so we can get tied into place. Get the pump connected. And then it's down to short list to where we can start it. Key on. Oh, that's kind of neat. Key off and back on. Watch this, peeps. Here's the prime system. That's cool. Alright, shut it off. That's actually kind of cool how that primes. Alright. That means we have everything set up that the unit should run. I do need to get my trigger done for the fans. So we'll wire the fans in real quick. We'll get that figured out. And then once the fan is wired in, once we get the fan wired in, then we'll go ahead and put in the system, go through the wizard, and go from there. Currently, this is where I'm going to put it. I have my system up against the wall back here and my wiring's right here. And there's my CAN bus. So I'm going to run this through here in the glove box area. And then we will tidy up all the wiring after we make sure everything functions properly. But you never know. Okay, that is connected. It goes right there. Now, Cindy and I are going to switch spots so that I can actually go through this setup wizard with you guys. You guys will be able to see what you got to do, how you got to do it. Now we're going to try and start this beast. All right, going into the setup wizard. Ready? Go. So we're going into the setup wizard here. Okay, we're connected to the Killshot. Settings. Okay, don't care about that. Wizards. Start wizard. Killshot. Cam type stock. Well, it's mild, but we'll say stock. It's only single. It should be magnetic. It's definitely not a 4-cylinder. Come on. Oh, number of injectors.
Ugh. Idiot.
4. They're 153, right? It's definitely not a 340. It's a 289 bored out. So we're going to say a 295-ish. Idle speed, I like about 800. Okay, save. There's your setup wizard. Key off 5 seconds. Out on her maiden cruise with a nice, slow, steady jaunt, trying to give it a chance to learn. It'll actually tell you when it's learning, when it's not, what your runtime is. Pretty sweet setup. So far, I'm pretty dang impressed. We're going to head over, stop at my buddy Sean's house, let him check it over real quick too, because he's a nerd like me, and then we'll go from there. Response feels crisper than it did on the Fi-Tech. Definitely a lot snappier. We're gonna head over. I'm gonna get a little bit of gasoline in the car because we're at about quarter tank, and I want to make sure we have enough to buzz around. And then we're gonna cruise around. We're gonna let it learn, because it's actually what I like. Some of the things I like is not only does it give you like your basic information, it actually tells you when it's learning and when it's not. So closed loop means it's learning the system. Open loop means it's ignoring the tuning and it's just running a preset map. That's awesome that it tells us when it's learning and when it's not. I haven't really had too many hiccups with it yet. I noticed my off idle has a little bit of a surge, but I think it's going to clear up. But aside from that, I'd say it's doing pretty good. So you can see when I get on it, the AFR is dropped down to about 11.5. 11.5 is rich, and that's like power adder levels. So we're going to go into the tuning software. We're going to fix that a little bit. But I'm going to end up in a separate video. I'm going to show you guys how to actually data log on this. So you can data log it, and then we can go in either through the handheld or through a computer and update the tune on this. So yes, it can learn, but it also has the ability to be completely tuned in. So let's run, get some gas, and then we'll go cruise around, have some fun, and really see what she'll do. I mean, coming back from Power Tour, the FiTech started giving me a little bit of an issue with a bad injector. So I couldn't really show you guys how it ran before, but it always had little things that I didn't like. Throttle response was okay. It always felt like it had a dead zone in it. This system, I'm very impressed. Straight out of the box, no tuning done yet. The car's running great. It fired up real smooth. It's going down the road smooth. Little things that it has to learn. But I tell you what, so far, I'm really impressed. Aces EFI right for you? I'll be honest with you, my FiTech, as much as I loved it, I had some drivability issues. I had times where it would stall. We had decel issues with it. And though I found ways to work around it, I felt myself driving the car more the way the car needed to be driven than the way I wanted to drive. This system here is amazing. Even out of the box, it's running good, it's idling well. It just runs very, very good out of the box. Now, these systems are tunable. So we're going to actually get into a laptop, we'll data log everything, and we can actually go in and tune this to this specific car. That's the joy of the Aces system. You can do that with other brands, but Aces software is next to none. I mean, their tech is just out of this world for what we need as hobbyists. So we're going to hop back in it. We're going to go for a ride out, play around a little bit, and then end this video. And remember, if you guys want to get your own Aces EFI fuel system, Autoali 10 in the discount code to get you 10% off. This system is amazing. And I'm not saying that because they're telling me. I'm saying that because I'm very impressed. This car pulls better. It feels like it runs better. The acceleration is better. I'm very impressed with this system. Just a heads up, guys. I'm going to leave this somewhere in the middle of the video, but I'm also going to drop it at the end. If you want to try Aces, if you want to try and use this system, my Killshot polished, if you want one of the pink ones, anything, hit up Autoali 10 in the discount code. It's AUTOALI 10, and that is the discount code. You pop that in on their system, and they will give you 10% off of any system. Guys, I'm going to tell you, for the budget that they sell these for, I don't know how they're selling them and making any money. Like, this system, the handheld, it's amazing. And I'm very excited to have them in my car. Until the next one, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the flip side. Regional Elite, 4 of a kind.
Okay.
Except for you screwed up.
How did you guys?
That's on vibrating.
What?
I am.
They're getting into the box.
Okay.
Does that qualify when I'm leaving the box too?
No, you should be able to back up once and pull straight out, I believe.
2 in a row and they were perfect.
We'll keep practicing.
Ouch.
Well, that's your dramatic.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Love you.
Love you.
Anyways,
Back to my dying.
might have a bruise right there.
I know, right?
Sorry, you looked up for this angle. Oh yeah, you're right. I missed.
We'll try again.
Oh my god. So hard to be the person not dying.
You're not helping. You're really not. I don't remember how I was.
I have to get close up now. I missed. Oh. Always bet on Aces. Go.
heard it fall.
This is difficult. Always bet on aces.
Close enough.